B2 here. We're going to take a look today at heroes and generals. That's right. We've got another possibility for an upgrade, some more attack teams, and that is due to the coins at 464,000 coins. You'll notice the veteran membership here goes a long way towards increasing your coins and war funds, of which I'm extremely poor on war funds right now. We have been hammered up north in Scandinavia by the troll army by Gaius Balter, right? But anyway, that was fun. We had a huge battle last night, and I'll show you on the war map. We got extremely pushed by Germany in the south yesterday during their prime time, so we shifted forces southeast of Prague to pick up Brno and a couple of the other towns over there. So let's see here. We got pushed yesterday by the Germans in this area, and they were all the way up into here, part of Jalava, and then had taken way up into Baitos and Kassel right there. So we ended up forcing troops out of Prague and beating this line back down to here last night, and encircled some troops here and pushed down into the back. And while we were focused down here, I zoomed out on the map, and lo and behold, the U.S. had come up to the top, just extremely as predictable as ever. Every time we get pushed out somewhere else by the Germans, the very next thing to happen is the U.S. comes across into Scandinavia, and we end up holding that. It's been a really brutal war on both sides. The U.S. jumped out early, and then we ended up getting pushed back and had to fight them in Scandinavia. I mean, Copenhagen was lit up for, I think, 24 hours straight with assaults and defenses. So anyway, I digress. That's enough about the war. And what war is this actually? 384. We're going to talk a little bit today about some attack teams, but we're also going to purchase a new hero here. So we're going to go into our tab, and we're going to look for an academy-trained fighter pilot lieutenant. And a lot of people will say, you know, why not buy the major over the lieutenant? And you see the price difference is not, I mean, well, it's pretty significant, about 140K, right? Or roughly 1,500 gold, which I don't spend gold to buy the academy trained stuff. Maybe the first one, if I was just starting out playing, I would think about buying an infantry lieutenant for 2,100. But you can see at 175 grand, this is way more expensive to buy. And I would recommend you get about 4 or 5 really good infantry lieutenants. You know, once you get on the veteran membership and you start raking in battles per day, you'll be able to buy these lieutenants probably once a week if you're playing, I don't know, about an hour and a half, 2 hours a week, right? So, I mean, a night. And then you can pick up these lieutenants pretty cheap. You'll then buy attack teams to come back through. So anyway, let's go ahead and buy the academy trained fighter pilot lieutenant. Almost bought the regular guy. That would have been a sad day. Feels bad, man, for me for sure. We're going to go ahead and buy him. And it's Casper Griechen. And I have enough to rename him. Let's name him... shout out to Mewing Llama, one of my buddies that streams on Twitch. And we're going to go ahead and name him that. And you can see right immediately, you're going to see some ribbons and stuff come through. He has no vehicles besides this little Yak 9, which we're going to work up and be able to get some armor piercing and some high explosive rounds. But for right now, he's just going to have the armor piercing. You know, it is what it is, right? You got to work up and upgrade your troops. So we can immediately put him on the war map somewhere too. So we're going to come over to the Generals tab. And we're going to go into HQ, and we're going to look at buy an assault team. So let's see what it would cost to buy an assault team fighter recons. It's going to cost us 60,500. And we're going to get this guy right here, which is going to be 8 fighter planes and 8 fighter pilots. And then eventually we'll upgrade it to a squadron, which would be 24 planes, 24 pilots, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And you'll see now the assault team is now mine, and the credits are gone here. We're down to 100,000. So we're going to come in here. Actually, we're going to leave it named. We're not actually. We said we're going to kind of rename them ORB. And then we call it Order 227. If you look that up, it's the famous order to no step back during the war. Purchase that out. Oh, look at our war funds just going down. Anyway, that's how you would buy the attack team. Now, I don't know that I necessarily want to pull these guys out. We've done some reinforcing here with these troops, so you'll notice that they're all full down here. And we don't have a lot up in this area, to be honest. We're favored right now. If you look at this, we have a 0 right here in this column, which only happens at this time in the morning when the Russian players are getting off work and playing. There's my buddy Akir. Look at that. I'm so sad that he went to the U.S. side. I wish that he would stay on the Soviets. They're 45% favored here, which means we have 45% more people online than they do. And so heroes and generals will take and give a bonus to those people who have fewer people online, which I think is a really great plan by them, and it does help accomplish a few things. But let's see what they need in this battle here. We're going to move some attack teams around. They don't really need anything, honestly. They've got plenty of troops in. They've got this. They don't have planes, though, but I don't know that I want to send planes in and deploy them. Let's see here. They need jeeps up in this fight, so I think we can get some jeeps up to them. We can, so let's do that. Where do we have jeeps at? Right here. So we're going to send them up kind of the long way. And let's see what's needed in this battle here is, again, jeeps. Do we have a queue on jeeps? We don't. We actually have a queue on nothing, which is stunning. To be honest, on this was it day 5 of the battle, and we have no queue. We're going to move these troops up a little closer at the same time. We're going to pull them into a defensive mode. So let's get them up into this town. We're going to turn those game sounds down slightly. Where is it at? Where is it at here? Let's go settings. We're going to turn the master volume down a little bit. Sound effects down a little bit. Okay, let's see if that will quiet those little noises down a bit. There we go. We're going to get these guys moving. We're going to pull these guys up a little closer. And you can see just by clicking on the menus here, like what troops are in here. There's 573 troops. They don't have tanks in here. It'd be nice to have some tanks in here for the guys. They do have paratroopers though. Let's see if we can pull some tanks in. And you can see they're going to move the towns, and some units are faster than others. The jeeps are the quickest, then motorized guard, and then you can see the tanks and the walking guards down here just struggling to keep up. These are important factors for the war map. If you look at what lines we're assaulting on, this is A line, a very tough line assault over this river here, especially if the other team has tanks. They're going to line up in this field and shoot straight down the bridge. They're going to get up here on this mountain and shoot straight across. And sometimes they'll put some tanks out here in the field, depending on how good they're feeling about it. On the airline here, there's no real good attack advantage on this side, to be honest. This is the O2 side right here, this airfield side, and then there's a bridge, and then there's a church right here. And honestly, like, it doesn't matter like which area you come from. Although these two have bridges, you can normally get across the B line really, really fast and get across the A line. All right, let's see. We've got motorized guard here. They don't need any bikes there. They got 156 bikes. Stacking more bikes at this point would only give them 18 more bikes. 54 more infantry, and it's not needed. They're already pushed back to A1. The only thing I would imagine, the only thing I would accomplish at this point would be to give myself a minus 20 morale on there. They're going to get kicked out of there, but it's necessary to keep going in over and over and over again. People who are offline will have troops in here. At 1,639, I guarantee there's some offline people. And in so many attacks, you'll chip away and eventually take that attack team off the board. And that's kind of what you're looking for at this point. You want to kill players, and then you want to remove attack teams off the board, and that's accomplished by beating it up again. Okay, Jeeps in the middle. So we're gonna take our Jeeps down this way, and I kind of do this by hand a little bit because sometimes the AI gets a little wonky, and it'll throw you down lines, and for some reason it'll register as a shorter distance on a different line, and next thing you know, you're in a different battle. So we're going to give them, I kind of like to send 2 units of Jeeps, because the newer players, you go from walking to having a Jeep to having a motorcycle, and that's important because you're going to get, if you want to get war funds, you want to have the veterans play on your motorcycles, right? So you don't want to put in a bunch of Jeeps and then or a bunch of motorcycles and get them wiped out. You only put on 45 Jeeps, it's more likely that they'll burn through 45. If you put in 90, then you can actually withdraw them. Once the battle's over, they'll get kicked back. You can push them back to town and then reinforce with more Jeeps if the queue is not bad. So let's get these guys in here, and we'll give them some support here at the airfield on the D-line. See, they still have no Jeeps, so nobody's moved anything in. We're going to give them a break here. Jeeps will help you move more troops too, which I don't get why people don't spend more time. And I think we're going to actually run down some tank destroyers to them. There's no APCs on either side, so that won't make a huge difference. And we could actually probably play this game. What do we got here? What does this town look like? They're getting closed. Look, they got closed off the A line. That's just a tough line to assault. But they do have B and C. Once they get O2, they can go back and cap A line back out, but you're not going to get access to all these troops that were kicked out of there for sure. Oh. Did they lose that battle? They did lose that battle. No problem. We'll help them by sending some more troops in there too. We're going to pull these tank destroyers in. We're going to send them straight across and down. So you can see the RTS side of the map is pretty exciting. It's definitely not the FPS side, the first-person shooter. Kind of exciting, but you can see how this makes a huge difference once you get generals or lieutenants on the map and go into generals. Speaking of that, I've got a couple of things going here. I've got Old Death Machine's close to becoming a general. So is Maslin. He's close to being a general. And actually, Tech PK got a ton of experience last night as we were playing him. He ranked up quite a bit. Let's see. OB2. I could swap him to a general. The problem is that I have all the equipment and gear and badges on B2. And so I don't want to swap him over to a general and lose all that, which you would. All your weapons and gear and stuff would go into a queue. And as you leveled up the other players, you'd be able to pull that out of the queue for sure and use those. You don't lose the equipment. Look at that. We got Foos. He's actually leveled up quite a bit. So, and we're going to turn him into a general as well. And then, of course, our paratrooper guy, who we rarely use. We'll use him in battle sometimes. And then, of course, Mewing Llama is my last officer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 officers at this point. Cool. Let's go back over the war map, and we'll take a look down here. All right, so that battle's going to start. They're going to bring in A, B, and C line again towards attacking that town. So, old Akir, my buddy who's fighting down there, doesn't stand much of a chance. Let's go ahead and throw our walkers and our guys down this line because there's nobody else coming down. There's not that much that came off that top line there, or that middle line. We're going to move these guys out to the front. Let me see. There are no tanks in that town, so let's go ahead and take another set of tanks and move in Baramzurk. So this has heavies in it, so I'm not going to send my tank destroyers over top of the heavies. I'd like to be playing some of these battles though, man, but I got to go to work soon. It's hard not to play for sure. Let's push up a few more units to the front line. And then this will help those guys out. We're going to send those tanks down in now. This is another good thing to know too, is you click on these arrows here, you can see it says queue for battle or unavailable based on what resources are in the battle. Like, of course, if I put a tanker in right now, it's going to say unavailable because there's no tanks in right here. But if you're waiting for a battle to open up, you can cycle through here and hit the enter button. Versus going to a queue, it'll always put you back behind. So we're going to move these guys up to there, and then let's just throw those walkers all the way in. So now what we've basically done was taken our guys who are back here on the back lines, and we've moved them up to be able to attack or to be the first line of defense. And as you're playing through the map, you want to use that strategy. You don't want to overstack a town, because like right now, see on defense at 1587, that's a strong frontline defense. If you look back in here, now these troops are all wiped out. There's 2,000 troops just sitting in Oslo right now. Like, those troops, we could have just pushed out around here, come through the bottom and help these guys out. But I think what's going to happen is once we break through these first couple of towns, we're just going to be soft capping all the way back, and we'll see. Alright, so anyway, that's Heroes and Generals. That's buying the Academy trained fighter pilot. That's a little bit more work on attack teams and moving around the board, and then you got to see a little bit of the current war, 384. So I hope you're doing well. Thanks. Leave any comments for me, any questions in the bottom, and I'll try to answer those in the next video. Thank you.